company. Started out in the US, but now with the presence uh, in like offices in 10 plus regions of the world. Uh, but in terms of impact, users and customers, we have customers in 80 plus countries across the world. And our mission from day one has been to be an education company, to focus on creating tools for educators first, that educators can use in the classroom to help learners become problem-solving leaders of tomorrow. And that's been our mission. Now, this is for everyone, right? For all educators, for all students, all schools in across the world. Now, keeping that in mind, then you've also got to look at things like how do you make things accessible, how do you make things affordable. Accessibility is um, could be defined in multiple ways, right? Access could be based on the price point. Access could be how do you actually use it? Do you use a computer? Do you need the products? Access could be is there internet or electricity connectivity there. Access could be do you have access to the right kind of educators and teachers with the knowledge and skills to be able to teach you. So the way we are thinking of access is in multiple different ways. So that's what our goal is. Now, for us to get to our goal, we've developed a full ecosystem which can go all the way from free to paid products. So free, of course, is zero, and then paid products could be as low as about $100 per year or per kit to much more than that. So there's a full range available. Now, what our ecosystem comprises of is three verticals or three distinct parts. One is the learning progression. So our learning progression is from kindergarten to career. So from 4 years onwards, all the way to about 24 years. And it comprises of software and hardware solutions. It focuses on STEM and robotics skills, but it's not limited to that. It also includes more of the softer life skills like communication, collaboration, problem solving, learning from failure are quite important. And the goal, once again, is how do we equip students for a rapidly evolving future? Then the second part of our ecosystem is our teacher capacity building. So helping teachers gain new skills, gain new knowledge so they can confidently teach in the classroom and beyond the classroom. The teacher capacity building is for pre-service and in-service teachers. It could be so teachers, people who are future teachers, so doing their B.Ed programs or currently in college or university, as well as in-service teachers, so similar to what you're currently doing. It comes with certifications. We also invest a lot of time and effort in building curriculum and content, which is appropriate for teachers because, as you rightly said, we need to support the teachers, right? And even if they're trained, then they need the resources to teach in the classroom. Most teachers are overworked and don't have enough time and don't have enough support. So we try to do our best in terms of supporting and aiding them. And lastly is we also have a heavily research-based pedagogy. And all of this also comes together through an online community that we have, which has tens of thousands of teachers, as well as we host an annual conference for STEM educators every year. The conference was just concluded about 2.5 weeks ago. This year it was in the US. I was just there for the conference. It was great to be there. We had a few hundred teachers there from around the world. And then the third vertical or third part is competitions. The way we look at it is competitions is a byproduct of a high quality classroom education. Um, uh, and for competitions to be successful and students to be able to compete, they need to learn. And for the students to learn, they need good teachers. So the first two have to happen and before the competitions happen. But competitions are important also, or they're essential because that's an opportunity for students to showcase their learning. It's also an opportunity for them to learn and apply their learning in an authentic and real world manner. Uh, uh, And when I say authentic and real world, what we do is every year we publish a series of challenges and uh, tasks that the student's robot has to do. Then the students get almost 1 year to form a team, to prototype and design a robot, to build it, to program it, to test it, and then, of course, rebuild it if required, or modify it if required. And that's how the commission cycle works, which mirrors in many ways the scientific process and the engineering design process. Is when they create the first robot, most likely that robot will not work as it should, as they intend for it to work, and it will probably fail, and that's fine. So we want them to learn that is that it's okay. Now that's an opportunity. You need to observe and document what worked, what did not work. Maybe try to understand why it did not work and what you would do differently. And then now go back to the drawing board, either rebuild the full robot or make modifications and then test that out. And keep a record of that. You can have pictures, you can have records in terms of your data, you can have logs, etc. So we ask students to keep an annual record as an engineering design notebook. That's a mandatory part of the course.
Hey, can you hear me now? Hi, Rajesh. Sorry, I lost the audio for a few seconds. Can you hear me now? Okay. Um, cool. Now you can hear me now.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, I can hear you now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the audio is much, much better now. I think your connection is back.
No, I just logged into my lab. So yeah.
Okay, okay, no, which is great. Yeah, I just turned on my video. Um, so with the competitions, as I was saying, there's the engineering design notebook, which is an important part, and we are getting the students to go through the scientific process. So the competitions is just not about competing; it's also about collaboration. So
Okay.
for the competitions, the students actually are paired into an alliance, and they have to
Okay.
work together for the task. So it could be a team from Delhi and it could be a team from Bangalore, or it could be a team from Bangalore and it could be a team from Bhutan who have been paired if they're in an international competition. And
Okay.
now the students normally get 1 or 2 hours before to know who their alliance partner is. So then they meet, they discuss what are the strengths and weaknesses of their robots and how they will achieve those tasks together. And even the scoring works that way. So if there are two robots,
Okay.
a team from in my example, Bangalore and one from Bhutan. If Team A gets 35 points and Team B gets 10 points,
Okay.
uh, the score is not 35 and 10. The score
Okay.
is 45. Both of them get that because they're working together on it.
Okay.
So we want them to also learn that when it comes to technology, collaboration and especially global collaboration is extremely important.
Yeah.
So that's what our ecosystem is. I will share a little bit more about our learning progression. So our learning progression goes all the way from 4 years to university level with our CTE. To your point about having some easy devices to use, where there's not too many parts and not too much of construction and then dismantling, we have worked on that part too, with two new products that have been added in the last few years. So continuing
Okay.
with VEX 123 starts on foundational learning. So they're not doing robotics here. The focus is even before you get to robotics, even before you get into STEM, The crux of that is, how do you think? How do you think logically?
Yeah.
How do you think computationally? And
Yes.
how do computers understand? And as a human, how do you communicate with computers? And the
Yeah.
language for that is coding and programming. But before you
Yeah.
get to coding and programming, you need to learn how to think computationally. So Vex
Yeah.
123 focuses on that. It's an amazing device. It's probably one of my favorite technology devices, because you can do coding uh, and computational thinking and unplugged activities without a screen and without the need for an internet. Completely screen free, completely internet free.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
so,
Exactly.
uh, so which is great, because you can use this in any environment, right? It could be high tech environment, it could be a low tech environment, it could be a school in a village, or in the hills or the tribal areas, or it could be a fancy international school, and everyone can use it.
And I think the brilliant part is this is where in India, most of the teachers in B.Ed colleges and the novice teachers who are coming into STEM, this will give them a lot of confidence to upskill. So even if it's for early years, age 4 plus, in for a student, but for a teacher who is like maybe 10, 20 years of experience and they have no clue of what this is, if we start from there, instantly, immediately they can do it, and then they have that confidence, and then they start learning more.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So I think 123 is going to be extremely important and popular. We already see a huge demand for it in India, and a growing demand.
Okay.
And that's going to be driving a lot of change and transformation for teacher education as well as for student learning.
Yes.
The
Yes.
reason it's called 123 is there are actually three ways of interacting with it. There is a touchscreen on it, which you probably saw it at a booth in Delhi. There is a physical coder. So we worked with the
Okay.
Scratch Foundation and made the blocks into tactile offline blocks. And then the third one is there is an option to connect it to a device and the internet. So you can use a tablet or a laptop if you want to, but you don't need to. That's not essential.
Okay.
So that's Vex 123. From there, there's Vex Go. So Vex Go is a mechatronics set. So this has got about 200 plus parts. You can build a robot, but you can also build different devices, like simple and complex machines. You can build different animals. You can build different tools, like a bridge or a clawbot, or a pulley system from this itself. It also comes with a brain, so a microcontroller that can be programmed, as well as motors and different sensors and a battery. So it's
Okay.
it's 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 plug and play. You can power it with the battery, and you can program it and program it with blocks.
Yeah.
Then the third thing that we have, which we just introduced, is the Vex AIM. So AIM, we brought that in for physical computing and artificial intelligence learning. So it comes with an AI vision sensor, and this AI vision sensor is already pre-trained on some objects, but students can also train it on additional objects and resources if they need to. So they can learn programming, they can learn physical computing, they can learn about AI, they can learn about how does training work. But also when you learn about training, you need to learn about math and stats. You need to learn about different lighting systems. You need to learn about things like biases, that if things are trained incorrectly or insufficiently, they can make a mistake. And that brings in a bias in AI. So how to recognize that and how to potentially try to avoid that also. From there, then
Yeah.
it moves to Vex IQ. This is an advanced version of Vex Go, so much bigger robot. It has a screen also on the microcontroller. This can be used for competitive robotics as well as for classroom. And here you can program it with blocks, Python, C++. So you can see now it's getting a bit more advanced from the foundational level. I think right
Yeah.
now, for our conversations, these three are the most relevant and pertinent ones. But I'll still just quickly give you a highlight of Vex IQ and the rest of them. Then
Yeah.
there's EXP and V5. These are semi-industrial robots, much larger. They're also metallic, so could be steel, aluminum parts. various different sensors, more powerful motors, and operating systems to it. It also comes with additional tools or optional tools that you can add, like pneumatics. So you have the air cylinders, piping, etc. So if you want to lift objects or move around, you have a whole pneumatic system that could be added to it. And then you've got CTE, which is for the school to university transition or university to career transition. The focus is workforce readiness. CTE stands for career and technical education. So students learning about automated manufacturing, automated warehousing and logistics. So this is a 6-axis robotic arm. It has a conveyor belt, a serpentine belt. It has a onboard computer that you can also program, and it's fully modular. So you can change the shop floor and the layout, and as well as you can also, of course, program it completely differently and run simulations or like real situations. So it's a fully operational scaled down version of an industrial 6-axis robotic arm.
Okay.
So that's a full continuum. Now, in addition to this, we also have Vexcode VR. So VR here stands for virtual robotics. This started out in the pandemic when many schools reached out to us and said, hey, we want to continue our STEM and robotics teaching and learning, but the kids are in school, we are sitting at home. How do we do that? And that's when we built an online platform, which now has had 6 million people use it for robotics learning. So it's a virtual robot that you can use it on from any browser. You can drive the robot, you can program it, you can also look at sensor data and information directly from it. And the great thing about Vexcode VR is it's a freemium model. So it's completely free, or there are paid plans, and the paid plans are extremely affordable. It's $199 per teacher per year with unlimited number of students. Or $499, depending on 2 different plans. So even if you see the $199 plan, that comes up to roughly, let's say, normally exchange rate is 80, 85 right now for USD. Let's say it's 90. It still comes to 18,000 rupees per year there's no cap on number of students.
Yeah.
So I think a combination of Vex 1, 2, 3, Go, AIM, and Vexcode VR is how we work on supporting the Indian education system to begin with first. Now it's not just this, right? Now you've got to provide a support mechanism that comes to the second part of our ecosystem, which is the curriculum and teacher training. So we build the curriculum. We map it to various international standards. We provide the teacher training. We provide the lessons. All of that is available for teaching and learning. So let me quickly show you our teacher training. And then I'll show you some of the curriculum resources also. So I've logged into our platform. It's my staff account. I've earned 6 certificates. Let me show you how to earn those certificates. So I go to the info courses, and for all of the products and platforms that we have, there are teacher trainings available. These are self-paced teacher trainings combined with learning material for reading, hands-on activities, videos, quizzes, and then of course, certifying exam, after which they get a certificate. And from here, we've trained tens of thousands of teachers over the last few years. It doesn't end there. They have an online community. They have master classes. They want to specialize in advanced learning. When we do conferences, webinars, we publish all the materials here. Insights is where we publish white papers and research. We also do live sessions on a regular basis, and they can have on-demand sessions at an extra cost. And then, of course, there's the conference that we run. It doesn't end there for the teachers. We have a complete ecosystem of supporting them with curriculum and additional resources. So let's say if I go for Vex 1, 2, 3, I've got lab summaries, content standards, I've got pacing guides and activities and curriculum, everything here, from even the lessons. So you can see that, okay, these are 2 labs that needs 2 lessons, what age group, etc. You can also make this interdisciplinary. It's not just about coding and robotics. You can connect this to literacy, to art, to social emotional learning, to math, in various different ways. So we've done a lot of work around this, and teachers absolutely love the amount of support that they get from WEX. This is our virtual robotics platform. It has ability for block-based coding and text-based like Python. And it's completely interactive. You don't need any special tools or devices to be able to operate it. Any laptop, any tablet you can use to run it, as long as you have an internet connection and a browser, of course. And lastly, the competitions. As I was saying, with the competitions, it's the world's largest. We have about 32,000 teams, schools, which take part in it, with about 1 million students every year. And there are multiple entry points. As you saw with our curriculum, there are different entry points based on age and skill and experience. Same for teacher training, the different entry points and levels. Even for competitions, we've created multiple different pathways. So we want everyone to have an opportunity, irrespective of their where they are in the world, what their experience is, what their prior knowledge is, etc. It is genuinely the world's largest competition. We've got the Guinness Book of World Record certificate on 3 different occasions for the competitions. And as I was saying, there's a new competition cycle every year. This is what is there for the new season. And lastly, we get a lot of support from tech companies around the world. Companies like Dell, Google, NASA, Tesla support our vision and support the work that we do. And that's why they partner with us to further our mission and our goals, because they see that the skills that we are building are the skills that they are looking for in their future talent. So I'll stop here. I'm happy to answer more questions, but also figure out what are the possible ways maybe we could do some work together.
Yeah. So I think the connection is much stable right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So fundamentally, there are a couple of questions that I would like to ask. One with respect to the availability of the devices and the products in India. So you said you already have a proper distribution structure in India, and then it's easy to access, and the availability of the products, ready availability of the products in India. Is it it's made in US or in China?
It's a combination of both.
Okay.
Some parts are made in US, some are made in China, but everything ultimately gets assembled in China at the moment.
Yeah, sure. So that means we already have some kind of what I say advantage over other Chinese products with the quality and the build, because
Of course, there's no product which comes to the quality that we have, without a doubt.
Yeah, that I'm just saying, when we are going and introducing this, I think this is a US product, right?
Yes, it is a US product. It is a US company. Its headquarters there. All the software development, all the product development, design, testing, everything happens in the US.
So I think that's the starting point where the Vex Robotics is fundamentally a US company. So all the other competitors, whatever that is in the market, is either from China or elsewhere. So I think Lego is also not from US, I believe.
No, Lego is originally it's a Danish company.
Yes. So second one is with respect to the association for when we are onboarding a school. What is the kind of structure that you have? When I have the school where I have to onboard your products, I pick and choose the product lines, and then we are working with you for getting the school onto the Vex. So is it that I'm generating a lead, or is it that I have to administer the implementation part? What is the kind of associations and levels of associations we have?
There are, and that's something which is up for discussion. Now, this relates to the first point you made in the second one. First was around the distribution, and the second is the association. So we have one distributor in India, They're not an exclusive reseller or distributor, but they're looking after India. But at the same time, they know this, and I've had the conversation with them. And I tell this to everyone that I'm speaking to: is India being so large and diverse, there cannot be just one distributor. You would
Yeah.
need multiple resellers. Um, what what is an open question is, are the distributors going to be based on geography, or are they going to be based on demographic? Right?
Yeah.
Because there are some companies who cater to only a certain demographic. So they may have decided that, we will cater only to CBSE schools, or we will cater to only international schools. Because I've met some resellers who sell only to international schools and no one else.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
resellers who sell only do government tenders and nothing else.
Yes.
But then they could be working in multiple states. And there are some who focus only on their state or region, saying, okay, I'll only work in Karnataka, I'll only work in Maharashtra.
Yeah.
So that's something which is an open conversation with anyone that we speak to understand what their current reach is, what their strengths are, and then work together on that. There's no point in over promising and stretching anyone on any side. So that said, um, uh, I'm open to a reseller conversation if that's something that you're interested in also. Of course, there are additional responsibilities that happen as a reseller. Like typically what we're looking for in a reseller are three things. The first and the most important one is um, uh, experience and understanding of education is the most critical one. Everyone can sell products, but having an understanding and education and being an educator or having educators in the team is extremely important, which is something you already tick the box on that. The second is, of course, experience with um, any sort of import, so handling international shipments, importing it, logistics, and keeping some stock in country or in your region is important. And then the third
Okay.
one is, of course, the marketing, sales, promotion. And that doesn't mean necessarily just going for events and going for conferences. It actually means things like engaging with the actual end user. So working with the teachers, doing workshops, doing seminars, because that's how we actually seed the market. And that's the third thing that we look for. And I think in your end, I know that the first one and the third one is a definitely tick mark. The second one, that's something you can let me know. That's what we look for, the reseller. The other thing is we're always looking for a long-term partnership. We want to look at things on a 5-year, 10-year horizon, and that's something that we can do because we've been around for 3 decades.
Yeah.
Most other companies won't be able to do that because they've been around
Yeah.
only for like 3 years, 5 years, etc. And they're still figuring out how just to, survive and make it work. For us,
Yes.
we have a very strong legacy, and now is that way, how do we have a much larger impact in new
Exactly.
regions of the world also?
Yeah. And they get distracted also. Like Lego, their focus is toys, and then they're making movies. They're in entertainment. So fundamentally,
Exactly.
their
Yeah.
vision remains the same. So until unless you are in education, you will understand this long time game because our shelf life is like 14 years or so.
Yeah, absolutely. So there are very few people and companies who necessarily understand it, or there are people who understand it, but they don't want to make the effort for it. And that's why
It
a
takes
company
like
like
so much
yeah,
time, no?
exactly.
It's waste of time. You can just go in and sell the box and then go home. That's
Precisely.
what people
And
want.
that's why a company like Microsoft or a Sony, they will never get into core educational products. They may support it in some ways, but they will never get into that because it's just a lot of work. It's not something where they just put it on the shelves and it just flies off.
I'll always speak to when I'm speaking to the tech guys from Google, Classroom, and all these people. They come in. What
Yeah.
excites me is that they've brilliantly taken the calendar, Google Drive, and the doc files and created Google Classroom.
Yeah.
It's just the drive, the sheets, the docs, and the calendar.
Yeah, it's just that it's nothing else. Like it's a good system of everything is just well integrated, and that's an important and nice thing to have. Um, but
So, I mean, the point is the idea of Apple or Google or all these players in this space is, there's a lot of this challenge to be supporting the teachers, the first time teachers. How do you make them to do it? And end of it all, how do you bring the result, the impact? So that's where, and it's not 100% that the kind of work everyone wants to do every day. So
yeah,
it's a lot of,
absolutely.
it's painful.
Without yeah, but it's rewarding also. But yes, it can be painful.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So uh, uh, I think that answers your question about the level of partnership.
Okay.
One is it could be a partnership where it's more of a reseller relationship. I'm calling it reseller for a lack of
Yeah.
a better word, but it has a lot more things in it. Or the other one is which could be a bit more strategic. Uh, if you don't want to stock sell the products, etc., which just focuses more on just promotion and teacher training. Or it could be just purely on teacher training where we work together on the workshops that you deliver, work together with you for your institute of teacher training, so your B.Ed college that is there, and it could just be that, um, or it
Yeah.
could be a customer relationship, right, where you just buy this for your school and for your institute, and you just use it. What I suspect from our conversations that we've had is you're not looking at the last one. You want to have a much more larger, bigger impact and a larger relationship also.
Exactly. So, what the biggest challenge with the kind of reseller package? Because Lex Robo, I had this conversation with Lex Robo in the very beginning. I've told them very clearly, like, I don't want to keep the stock for you because that's a big headache.
Yeah.
Whatever is the need that we create in the market, you cater to it. My job is to talk to the teachers, talk to the schools, and make sure that I understand and I listen their level. Then I go in there as their doctor. I go fix it, make
Yeah.
sure that the need is created, and then you sell the medicine. So, and then I make sure that they are having that treatment, ongoing treatment, medication, so that there is an impact and change. There is remediation, there is result, and they're happy about it. So that's fundamentally my role right now with all the schools that I'm working right now. I have a long time relationship. I've told them also for the next 5 years, I'm not going away. I'm not spreading out to hundreds and thousands of schools because fundamentally, if I'm not able to deliver the service quality and if I cannot get that confidence from teachers and the school management, I'll be spoiling my name and I'll not be building that relationship, which is my investment for the future. So if I have, say, 5 schools, 10 schools, 15 schools, 25 schools, that's good enough for me. If I spread wide and then if I go out with 100, 200, 500 schools and I'm not able to deliver the kind of quality that I'm delivering, then it affects my branding as a personal brand. Because for teachers, for me, it's very important to listen to the grassroots level
Absolutely.
interactions that we're having with the teachers. That helps me. That is my market intelligence. So when I'm having this conversation and the conferences and workshops with teachers, I exactly understand. No, I know your product. I know the products out there in the market. And then when I'm going and interacting, I know their level of understanding. And then I'll be able to tweak the next program and the next program. So, and every school, the levels are different. As you know, the schools, every school has a different set of teachers, especially in the private school space. There is money, but at the same time, the quality of the teachers is, I should not say pathetic, but below average.
It's not up to the mark. Yeah.
So the point is, we have a huge scope for improvement. That is where a lot of these tools come in. When the schools are so um, user friendly and easy to onboard, and then like the 1, 2, 3, it makes things easy for us to start this movement. Now we are at the tipping point when the government decided that this is going to be the STEM year. This is going to be the year when education from grassroots levels to higher ups, everyone has to understand the whole idea of STEM. That's their agenda for this year. So that opens up the markets.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
So that's I think that's my idea. So I just wanted to share. So we'll discuss on this and see how we can create a roadmap and then we can collaborate. So next one
Which
is
makes sense. So
yeah.
just on the first part, so I understand. So you wouldn't want to be a reseller, but you would want to be some sort of a strategic partner where you help create the market demand, you help train the teachers, get them the right skills, and when they're looking for a solution, or you'll bring in Vex as a solution, but when it comes to them actually buying it, they would still not buy from you, but buy from us directly or from our other reseller.
I suggest that they buy from you directly because I don't want. I mean, let's discuss that later because right now we will see. I'm not saying that I don't want to be a reseller. I said I don't want to be a reseller right now.
Fair enough.
So
Okay. Which I understand.
Yeah.
What we could, and just an idea I'm throwing out there is perhaps we can start with the teacher training programs using Vex Code VR because you don't necessarily need the device right now, or like you don't need the robot, but you can just use the devices that are available wherever you're doing the workshops. And I can I'll try to figure out a way to maybe lend you some Vex 123 so you can
Yes.
you can try it yourself. You can do some workshops on your own, and then after that you can decide how you want to pursue it.
And
of course,
for the long term,
my
I
preference
would
would be a
love
reseller
to
one.
suggest
Yeah.
one small suggestion that I want to make because I had this discussion with my internal team also is that I need a strong partner who can be with me like a very strong partner like Vex. I can direct because I run a B.Ed college. I
Yes.
have B.Ed college. So I've been running this for 20 years now. So I know inside out of what exactly it is and the change that is coming in with the 4-year B.Ed program, which is being introduced across the country right now. There's going to be a structural change in the teacher training programs with respect to National Council of Teacher Education, NCTE. So north, south, east, west, there are 4 zones in NCTE. So that could be one long-term strategic initiative if it is there that will give us a huge visibility in this space because while they are doing their B.Ed program, we are going into their classrooms and then doing this program in the B.Ed course itself with support from the NCT, endorsement from the NCT. Nobody is doing that right now. So I think this can be a huge long-term game because this name will be known to them and the basics will be trained to them. And it's part of this long-term vision of Government of India and Ministry of Education to upskill the future teachers. So that's something that we can pitch forward.
And that's very exciting and interesting for us because building teacher capacity and having a pipeline of teachers that can work at schools is an important part of a mission. And of course, part of the business because a big choke point, you could say, is where schools will always have the problem where they say, hey, we don't have tech teachers, we don't have STEM teachers.
Yes.
And we want to tell them that, hey, you know what? There are more than enough STEM teachers. We've partnered with all of these colleges and universities. You can hire them there. We will never want to be a recruiting or a hiring company, but it'll be like, hey, we've created these partnerships where there are dozens of B.Ed colleges across India. We'll give you the list. You can contact them directly and then you can hire. And it's great for B.Ed colleges because now they have a whole pipeline of teachers with potential jobs at some of the best schools in India.
Align to the government's vision also that will be huge for the PR as well because government and the Department of Education will be with us if we bring in the numbers. If you're looking at one B.Ed college itself is 100 teacher students. So if you're working with like 100 B.Ed colleges, it is 10,000 prospective teachers we are certifying, and they have a certificate which they carry all along with during their career.
Absolutely, and they that's something I think that is a strong point, and maybe that's an area maybe we should focus on first.
Yeah.
And start with that,
Yeah.
and then we
That
can
will
look
show
at the other
it's an
sides.
impact project. At the same time, it's a long-term project as well.
Yeah.
Sure. So a couple of other questions quickly. What is the teacher training modules that you have and the student curriculum modules that you have, whether it is on LMS, how is it possible that we can give printed ones, hard copies? Is there anything that we work with the students when we are saying the student journaling, the student workbooks, the grade-wise things, the curriculum, how we deliver it to the students, and then what are the modules that we use in schools, especially to upskill the teachers, and then how do we put it across in a LMS kind of a scenario where it makes so easy for the teachers to understand, decipher, and deliver. At the same time, the student to document, journal what he is going through, and then how the evidence and portfolio is created, not just on digital space, but also on a hard copy or maybe on a pen and paper scenario.
Yeah, no, two great questions. So I'll divide that as teachers and students. With the teachers, we have the teacher training platform that we call as PD Plus, so Professional Development Plus.
Okay.
This platform is also a freemium model where you have free courses with certification, and you also have paid courses. So
Okay.
I've logged into the platform. Here I have the intro courses. All of these intro courses are free. So they're free self-paced courses for teachers with all experience levels and all knowledge level. Now, in terms
Okay.
of can these materials be downloaded or can they be printed? Um, um, and I would say the blanket answer is no, because these are interactive exercises.
Yes.
There are videos, there are quizzes, there are hands-on exercises. But I understand that for some sessions, there may need to be some supplemental material that is there while they're doing their learning. So that's something we can figure out. We'll have to develop some sort of a financial model around that.
Yeah.
And as I've said, I want to ensure that it is a very appropriate cost structure that is there, where it's accessible to schools and the teachers. Your costs, whatever your costs are, you're being able to bear those, and whatever our costs are, we also be being able to bear those. So that's something we'll have to figure out, and we'll have to have conversations around that. But some of these things, of course, can be printed. Some of these cannot be. I'll have to work with my team on that. But as you go through it, there are interactive quizzes in it where the teacher's knowledge is being tested. And that's why we built our own platform.
Okay.
And at the end of it, you can look, they can see a progress of their learning. They can start and stop whenever they want to. So maybe they did in the chapters, maybe they did 4 lessons and they took a break and they come back 2 days later. They can continue the learning from there.
Yeah.
Similarly for the examinations, an online exam, and then they get a certificate issued. So that's why we have the platform built for that. So that's for the teachers. For the students, we have the entire curriculum that is available. So I'm going to pick Vexcode VR as an example. And then let's say we have the Vexcode VR activities. Within the activities, let's say I pick up something for art and coding. So in this one, you'll see that these resources, we put them as Google Docs, Microsoft Word documents, and PDFs. So they can be, that means that they can be printed. But these documents we are giving out for free. So what we tell everyone else is that then you can also not charge for it.
Yeah.
Because we are distributing it for free. It's meant for everyone to use for free and no one else to monetize on it.
Yes.
Now, how someone would actually make money on that is if they're using a subscription to the online platform and they can pay for the subscription, and then if you're a partner, we can figure out what is let's say a reseller cost or a partner discount for you, because the school is using a subscription. So, for example, if a school pays $200 for the subscription, there will be a fee for you that you get off that $200, not beyond that. But because we've already disclosed the price globally, this is the highest possible price that you would pay for it. So in that, you'll have a margin for yourself, and we can figure that part.
Yeah. So I'm just showing you what I've done. This is a book. I think this is something that we give out to the teachers. So this is book we have printed for the Lex Robo. So I've curated a lot of their projects into a cohesive book format, so that when you go out into the teacher training, we distribute this and then make the teachers to do some of these worksheets. It's a small 80-page booklet, but in an Indian scenario, what happens with most of the teachers, students, parents, and schools is that they need something to touch and take home. So that's most of the students don't have devices and teachers don't have devices. So of course, they'll have a lab and they'll be using it in the school. But while doing these programs, this is something that they take home and then makes something more exciting for them, because they have been used to this. They're not used to the devices. So I think to start off, it's just a starting block. I'm saying you just need something initially to reach out to the teachers and make them confident enough, and slowly they'll get on board to this platforms, because when they see that there is value in it, they'll always come here.
Got it. Yeah. So we don't have one book. We've got different ranges of different things. So we can work together on how to best package it.
Yeah.
So we are very flexible. Ultimately, we want to help meet what the needs of the teachers and the educators are, or of the users are.
Exactly.
Now, that doesn't mean that we will be able to cater to every need. So we'll have to, of course, look at what the most important and critical needs are, and also where we can get the largest impact. So having the largest number of teachers and students, so we have to make the decision based on that. But definitely, we can repackage things.
Okay. So I think one of the last and final questions that I have is with respect to the CBSE. You have the IST, you have the Digicom, you have the standards already from the US and Europe. So for us, we always speak about the NCF and NAP, and NCP compliant, and NCF compliant, CBSE compliance, ICSE. So these are all fundamentally the keywords, the book publishers have put inside the mouth of school owners. First question is like, is it NCF compliant? There is nothing called NCF compliant. So
exactly, we know it, which is what I tell schools also.
So we just have to put that logo and then make sure that we are also NCF compliant. And then this is something very silly, I know, but this is something very serious when it comes to the sales friction. The first question they always ask is it as per the NCF 2023? Yes, it's always, because NCF 2023 is as per ISTE. So anyway, we know it. But how do you tell them? Because they'll say like, oh, we are not answering their question. So my point is, we need to have, we can always have that map where there is an NCERT map that we have already, or if we don't have, we should be able to create one, so that when you go into a school, the teacher, the principal, the first question is, how many projects we can do in grade 9 with respect to the NCERT textbook? We have enough and more projects. So only thing is, we need to create some kind of a Excel sheet which maps each activity to a chapter in NCERT textbook, grade 9 science and maths and chemistry or physics. We already know the fundamentals. So that's something that I've been always telling LexRobo also. They have no clue. So I have created something and then I use it also. So there's certain things that when I'm talking to you, you understand the market. When I'm talking to somebody in US, they don't understand at all because it's an Indian question.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the reason I'm there, right? That's the reason I'm looking after India, and not someone else, like which made total sense, right? For an Indian to help
It's an Indian
uh,
thing, yeah.
the group. Yeah.
So I
So
just that's my
no worries
final
about that.
question. It's just the math, physics, I mean science and math. We have to have a reverse map, like a curriculum map. So these are the projects, like the IST standards that the specific standards you've put in, the numbers, there are each activity there is an IST code and the number and the standard. You have a unique map placed in each of these lesson modules or lesson plans that you've curated. We need to have a consolidated sheet wherein we can say that this module can be mapped back to grade 6 physics, this topic, chapter 7.
Yeah.
So if you can curate that kind of a CBSE or NCRT science math mapping, it can be engineering, it can be tech, it can be problem solving, it can be other stuff also. But it gives a repository of 200 to 500 concepts that we can cover with maybe our 100 projects or 200 projects or 150 projects. So that makes these guys happy, so happy, so that, oh wow, we'll kickstart it.
Definitely, and also that's something which is already we've discussed internally, but we've not started the work. But we can do that. We have a whole education team to be able to support that. One question though I've had when I've asked other educators also, no one's been able to give an answer, is the challenge up till very recently in India has been that there's actually not been any list of standards, right? NCRT says this is what should be taught at this age. It doesn't necessarily prescribe how it should be taught. And that's when teachers and publishers come in and say, this is how we think it should be taught. And then in the textbooks, they'll put the list of topics around it. And then people normally look at those topics and say, okay, this is what the concepts are, but it actually doesn't work that way. But anyway, but that's how it is right now. NCF has slightly changed that. So my question is there any spreadsheet or somewhere where can have all of these math and science concepts for different grades listed out? If not, I'll have to just spend one weekend putting everything into ChatGPT and a couple of other places and compiling it and then reading it and then organizing it. But if you've done that work, you can share it with me. If not, in the next few days, my plan is to sit down and just do that.
I'll send across a few documents to you so that you can just go through it and then also understand how I approach it. I've not done a perfect work, but this can be a good collaborative work we can do. I'll just send across some documents. You see, go through it, and then you'll understand what I was trying to elaborate and explain. So I think that's something that you can immediately kickstart on, and we can do it. It's not a big task. I'm just saying this is the first question these guys ask.
Yeah, it's not a big task. It's just that someone has to do the work, and we are willing to do the work. That's not an issue at all.
Whatever I've done, I'm going to share it with you.
That'll be great. Thank you so much. And then if I make any updates, modifications, I'll just send that back to you so you can take a look at it.
Sure. So I think that's for now. I think almost 80%, 90% of is covered by now. I think I'm clear on what are the expectations, what are the structures, and how. I mean, I knew 50% of it, but now I think it's more clear.
Okay, that's awesome. No, I'm glad that we got to talk and go through things in detail. I also have a more understanding about your work and your goals in India. So any suggested next steps at your end? I can send you some videos and some links that you can explore it on your own and your team can explore. If your team or your colleagues want to have a call with me later on, I'm happy to also arrange for that.
So I need a teacher training module for me to start off with initially. You can suggest me how and where I should access it, and then kickstart my learning so that I have a fair understanding of the structure and the ecosystem. Then what we do is take me step by step, send me an email or give me documents so that I can understand the student curriculum, what you have from the lower grades to higher grades and how the progression happens, and especially with respect to the competitions, which is most important right now because India, we are just opening up. So this
Mm.
is going to be the first year because of the STEM and all those things. So we are going to be really serious from the grassroots level. So how do we use this competition as a hook or maybe as a spine of the activities that we are going to do in the future, maybe 5, 10 years? Because competition, Olympiads is there in India, but competition with respect to the robotics is not a serious affair. There are a lot of schools that go into these competitions because of the ATLs, because of they're from metros, they're from the premium schools. But I think this is one of the major strengths that Vex has right now. I think we should be focusing on that to
Me
get
some
into the
uh,
schools.
pictures and images from the World Championship of our competition, which just ended
Yes,
on 14th May. Um, excuse me. Yeah, we had some teams from India, not as many as we should have, given our population and given our talent pool that is there.
exactly.
Uh,
My point is
yeah,
we should be that number one country sending most number of participants and
definitely. Yeah,
getting
and
this.
also the point is, um, not everyone has to necessarily go to the World Championship. We could just be having the largest competition in India itself because there are just so many students.
We don't
It
want to
could
do it in
become,
India, no? Everybody wants to go outside. That's the
which is also true,
Indianness,
which is unfortunate.
which
Um,
is which is
um,
the Indianness
yeah,
of it.
yeah,
So after our studies, we want to go abroad.
yeah, yeah. But that said, the competitions
Of
are
course.
also growing in India. Competitions. Uh, uh, we normally try to keep it at the last. We don't have to lead with the competition. Say, hey, that could be one of the outlets, and there are a couple of reasons for that. The main one is competition is not for everyone. Only few select students will go to compete. Then does that mean that the other students who are not competing, they don't get the valuable knowledge and the skills? No, we want them to also benefit. That's why education helps for everyone. And then competitions is for some people who want to specialize or who show skills or want to go further down this route as a professional. So then it makes sense for the competitive route on that side. The other is with competitions is also financially, it's a little bit more expensive compared to, I won't say expensive, but there are more costs associated with competitions than the classroom learning. It could be travel, it could be buying
Yeah,
specialist kits, it could be buying extra
I
resources,
understand. My
investing time and all.
point
Yeah.
is, it could be a hook.
Yes. It's definitely a hook, and also it doesn't mean that uh, all the competitions that people are doing are leading to the world championship. There could be smaller regional
It's just a
competitions that happen.
it's just a starting block for the schools to get excited about that.
For sure, for sure. Yeah. Your audio has got a little bit patchy. Yes, can you say it again?
Yeah.
Yes, yes, it is. Yeah. Okay, so what I'll do is Yeah, so my suggestion is, see, the teacher training module, you can access that completely free, but I'll send you an email and send you the link for it. Let me just share my screen. It's very simple. You just need to go to the pd.vex.com and create a free account where you can put in your email address and your name. And I would suggest you do the teacher training because you don't have the physical kits right now. You can do the intro course on Vex Code VR with blocks. So it's this one. This is a slightly lengthier course because it focuses on robotics and computer science using blocks. No need to do the Python course right now. So it says 18 hours, but I'm sure you may finish it before. But it doesn't matter if you take less time, if you take more time. It's completely self-paced. So I would suggest starting with this course, and I also send you the link to the VR platform, so you can also use that at the moment. Um, and these two would be the starting points. And then as and when you have questions, you can let me know. And then I think you'll start getting ideas also on possible ways of collaboration. But I think uh, we mostly agree that the first point is going to be around teacher training, working with your B.Ed colleges, sorry, B.Ed college, and as well as any other teacher training workshops that are there. And then you said that the curriculum sort of mapping document that you've done, or the way you've looked at it, you'll share that, and then I'll also do some work around it once you share it. Uh, Absolutely. The other thing is, there were 2 points. One, I did bring up what Kerala was doing, or at least claiming to do with robotics education. Once you look at some of the materials, you can let me know if there are some ways that we can assist in that. I know you said, keep away from that for the moment, but we can start thinking around that. For like, okay, what does that look like 3 months later, 6 months later, 1 or 2 years later, in terms of some association there. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. IT at schools. Okay. Okay. Sure. No, I'm happy to support that. And once you meet him, let me know what the feedback is. In addition, I do want to plan a trip to Kerala. So, if you want to, this is too early, but based on the conversation, want to propose with Mr. Anwar Sadat or anyone else, some meeting just for a casual conversation, seeing a demo, understanding how we can support, I'm more than happy to make a trip for that. How much does the Lux Robo cost? The even the beginner kits. 24,900 rupees. So 24,900 rupees is the landing price for the basic kit. So 24,000. That's quite expensive. That's like $300. That's like more expensive than a lot of our kits. Like that's more than 123, more than AIM, more than even Vex Go. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Because I'm looking at it like if you say, yeah, if I add all of the additional costs to it, um, let's say 24,900, it'll come to about 34,000 when you add GST, any of your logistics, some warehousing if you need to do that. Yeah, no, that's quite that's more that's more expensive. And then let's say you buy 10 of these, it's already 3.5 lakhs just for the kit. I'm not saying that, you know, yes. Yeah. So then of course, that's why I said that all the costs are coming to about 34 according to a very rough backhand calculation that I'm doing. And then you're keeping your 11,000 on that as a margin, 11 to 12,000 as your margin so you can pay for it. Yeah. Yeah. Which is fair, right? Which is unfortunate, because the goal and the vision that you have, and that we also have, and versus what the reality is still quite far apart. But I think it's getting closer, and it'll take another 5 or 10 years to get there. But that said, looking at the price point, I really think you should consider Vex because we can give you a similar, if not a better price point for some of the products. Osmo, MakeBlock. Fisher Technic. Yeah. Yeah, makes sense. It's like I think they're Um, One is they're a toy company once again. It comes down to the same thing as Lego. So for them is, can I put this in a shop? Can I put this in a mall? And will parents just buy it off the shelf? And something like this, some parents buy it off the shelf, but parents need to be slightly involved in this. This is not something that the child will just do it on their own. Yes. Yeah, yeah, it does definitely help. So, for example, VEX 123, our retail price for VEX 123 starts from about $135, which is one third the cost of uh, the Nano School introductory bot that you were talking about. That is the retail price. I'm not talking about what a reseller will get, etc. So now you can start doing your rough math and you can understand that where it can be placed and how much more accessible it is. Yeah, which is and that's why there's no one who comes close to Vex in that. We have a learning continuum from 4 years to 24 years. We have curriculum, we have teacher training, we have competitions. So it's a continuum of learning, but it's also an ecosystem which combines all of that. Um, I think anyone who understands education understands that Vex is an education company. Um, and everyone else is a toy or an electronics company who happens to do some education. We are only an education company who has decided that electronics and STEM and robotics is the medium that we use for furthering education, but education is our core. Okay. What is it called? Lego Science. Yes. Lego Science. Yeah, I'm on there. I have not seen that. But once it's still their bricks and the pieces, and then they're just trying to connect that to some curriculum around it. I see. Okay. Yeah, I haven't. I need to find those curriculum resources to understand those. Yes, yes. Yeah, I'm familiar with the Spike, um, and because there are other products which they've already discontinued because they are steadily leaving the robotics market. Yeah, they've seen that, and also, they have decided that at least what I've seen while working in the industry, that they want to place themselves as a premium product, and that's why India as a mass market doesn't necessarily appeal to them, um, because though they say that this is a product for everyone, they are a much more premium product. Um, No, that's great. I'll send you an email later today or tomorrow. Once you also meet your friend from the IT and education, do let me know. For a trip, I haven't planned a trip. I can plan a trip based on what makes most sense for the meetings. So I was thinking sometime around July. As it is, I was thinking of coming to India for a couple of meetings in like Bombay and in Delhi. So I can combine that with this, and then we could meet up sometime in July, and then I could come to Trivandrum or anywhere else. Okay. Okay. No, which is great. And thank you. No, I appreciate that. And if you ever come, you said that you coming for a holiday, right? Were you saying that to Bangkok in August, right? Just let me know in advance. I'm based in Bangkok unless I'm traveling for work to the countries around the region. Yeah, so we can. I think we made a meeting twice, sometime in July in India and then in August in Bangkok. Okay, likewise. Have a good day. Lovely speaking with you. Bye, Rajesh.